Welcome, this is Wood Forge UK. Today I'm showing how we sowed seeds for the garden. So I've got some vegetables here for the crops, and I've also got some echinacea which are really good for pollinating insects like bees and the butterflies. So I'm all for wildlife gardening. So I've got some compost ready. Now there's all sorts of compost you can get. There are types that you can use for seed sowing and vermiculite, that kind of thing. As usual, I don't do things too scientific, so I'm just using some multi-purpose here. So first, I'm just going to get this tray filled up. Let's put that to one side. Let's fill this pot. Right, so as I've been, you always tap the pot and that just helps get a nice level. And then what we can do, so I'm just going to move this away. You don't have to use one of these, but I like to use pot tamp just to consolidate the soil. So what I'm doing is I'm just gently consolidate. I'm not pushing really hard because you don't want to compact the soil. So like so. You can use your hand, it's up to you. So we're going to start with some spring onions. So on the back it says about 1/2 inch deep. So what I'm going to do, use a seedling dibber, approximately 1/2 inch is about that. And I'm just going to do a few in this pot. You can use your fingers to do this, but if you use something, a stick even, it just gives you a little bit more control. So just about 6 holes in there. Just putting these in. So, good little way to pick up the seeds. You've got spare ones, just scoop them up on your palm of your hand like that. Now can you keep using these through the season, and they'll probably keep for next year and possibly the year after. So what I'm going to do is I'll seal that with a peg, just to seal them. You can put them back somewhere cool, dark place. So that's done. So the next important thing, I'm going to take this outside and I'm going to water this one. So I'll put that to one side for a moment, and we'll do the next one. So this time the echinacea, same again, 1/2 inch deep, that's 1.5 centimetres. So by consolidating the soil with the tamp, we're just stopping any air pockets, because what can happen is when you come to water the seeds, you can actually push them deeper than they're meant to be, and then they won't germinate. And it'll always tell you on the pack how deep to put them. Some can be very shallow actually, you barely sprinkle some soil on the top. It all varies. So these are a bit easier to handle, I can actually pick these up. The tricky ones are when you get ones that are like dust. Okay, so I'm going to sow some garden peas in this pot. So this is where I'm actually going to grow them. That's why I brought this one in to do this. So again, just going to consolidate the top so we've got no air pockets. So this time these are quite deep. These are going to be 2 inches in. Put 6 in here because I'm also going to bear in mind I don't want to overcrowd them. Now what you can do when you've got quite hard large seeds like this that have like a case around them, so again sweet peas are another example, you don't have to do this, but it does help the germination. It helps if you soak them overnight in some water. So you're in a 2 inch, one in the middle, I've got 6, 5 around the edge. So I'm putting these quite far apart in this big pot, so they have quite a bit of elbow room. Sometimes they say to put 2 seeds together. I'm not going to do that this time, but you can do, and then you just take out the weaker growing one. But what I prefer to do is just sow them individually like this, and then if I see any have failed to germinate, I just replace the single one. It's all a matter of preference. Okay, so again, just going to and then I'll label.